needle-sharp fangs and a tiny dose of lethal venom, or strong muscles to crush bones. That's all it takes to bring even the meanest of predators to their knees. And snakes have it all. But surprisingly, there are other creatures that have shown these reptiles that it doesn't take much for the tables to turn. 11 moments when snakes messed with the wrong opponent. Number 11. Snake messed with cat. We all know how capable big cats are as predators, but what about domestic cats? Well, apart from their relatively smaller body size, cats have every skill needed to be an effective predator. But have you ever wondered what would happen if a cat had to go head-on with a deadly snake? Take a look at this cat that has just caught a snake. It looks like the reptile has tightly coiled itself around the feline in a bid to break free. Despite being completely entangled in the serpent's grip, the cat fiercely bites down on the snake and refuses to let go. As for the snake, things don't seem to be going very well, since death is simply unavoidable at this point. Here's a fearless little kitten showing a snake who's boss. As the snake draws close, the cat unleashes a series of continuous blows. The barrage of hits proves to be too much for the snake as it backs down and tries to flee. But this little kitten isn't done yet. It keeps on attacking the snake even as the reptile tries to escape. Number 10. Snake messed with poisonous frog. I think it's safe to say that frogs have the top spot on the list of favorite snacks for snakes, but a poisonous frog is a completely different story. And eating one of these frogs could very well mean death for the snake. Can snakes really tell poisonous frogs from non-poisonous ones? This poisonous frog has caught the attention of a keelback snake lurking nearby. The snake seizes the opportunity to launch an ambush against the frog. It grabs the frog in its mouth and attempts to swallow it whole, assuming that's just a regular frog. Moments later, the reptile suddenly chucks it out, realizing that the frog's body has a poison that's too potent to survive. Naturally, the keelback retreats immediately with its life in search of other safer prey. But as for the frog, it was successful in teaching the keelback why you don't mess with poisonous frogs. Number 9. Snake messed with turtle. Now, turtles might seem like calm creatures, but that's not entirely true. In fact, they are just waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. As for snapping turtles, these creatures can produce a bite force of up to 1,000 pounds per square inch, depending on their species. This immense biting force is enough to crush bones and tear through the flesh of any animal that decides to mess with them. Here's a snake trying to make a meal out of a turtle. The turtle doesn't seem bothered at all, probably because it knows that its rock-hard shell will protect it from the snake's attacks. The snake tries a different approach and attempts to get beneath the turtle to land a successful strike, but that doesn't work out as well. I guess this snake underestimated how well protected turtles are. Number 8. Snake messed with praying mantis. The praying mantis doesn't need an introduction when it comes to how deadly of a predator these insects are. Their expert camouflage abilities, combined with swift attacks, make them incredibly effective against prey. While mantises and snakes rarely go after each other in the wild, we've managed to gather a clip of such a rare thing happening. Here's a snake trying to take on a praying mantis. The reptile approaches its target, but before it can make its move, the mantis strikes back and forces the snake to back off for a moment. But the snake isn't done yet. It tries a second time to get close to the mantis, but the mantis fights back. Eventually, the mantis manages to grab the snake in its sharp claws, leaving no room for the snake to break free. A few seconds later, the mantis starts devouring the snake one bite at a time, while it's still alive. Well, I think it's safe to say that this is the most badass mantis you'll ever come across. Number 7. Snake messed with honey badger. When it comes to being absolutely fearless and stubborn, I don't think there is any other creature that matches up to a honey badger. These bold animals never back down from a fight, no matter how big or mean their opponent may be. Considering the fact that badgers routinely prey on snakes, it's no surprise that they tend to dominate fights against the serpents. This honey badger has noticed a snake hiding inside a tree stump. The badger rushes towards the stump and desperately tries to force the snake out of the hideout. Eventually, the snake is compelled to get out, and the badger chases after it. The cocky mammal attempts to bite the snake, but the reptile immediately fights back and bites the badger on its head. Startled by the attack, the badger backs off, but soon makes an effort to bite the snake again. After suffering a few more hits, the mammal nails the fight and lands a fatal strike. It's a challenging but well-deserved win for the honey badger. This honey badger steals a gerbil from the snake's mouth. As if that wasn't daring enough, the honey badger goes further. After having its snack, this badger decides to attack the same snack whose meal it stole. The snake flips out and strikes multiple times, envenoming the honey badger. However, the fight continues thanks to the honey badger's tolerance for the venom. After being knocked out for a while, the badger manages to defeat its opponent. Number 6. Snake messed with hen. Just because hens aren't built to be predators, do you think that they are completely defenseless? Not at all. Although they might not like it, hens are more than capable of defending themselves against threats. They might appear to be helpless against a massive snake, but that's not entirely true. This is especially true for hen mothers who guard their chicks ferociously. This chicken's nest is being raided by a hungry snake that has its eyes set on the young hatchlings. The reptile storms in and attacks the chicken, driving it out of the nest. But before the snake can munch on any of the hatchlings, the chicken goes ballistic and attacks the snake. It must do whatever it takes to protect its young ones that are still inside the nest. This brave bird holds its ground even as the reptile keeps attacking it non-stop. Finally, the snake is forced out of the nest by the chicken. Who knew chickens could go up against deadly snakes and come out victorious? This massive snake is on the move to attack a chicken and its younglings. The birds don't seem to have any room to escape since they are at the end of their enclosure. The reptile seizes this opportunity and launches an attack. As the snake draws close, the hen springs right into action and retaliates with full force. The mama bird tries to peck the reptile multiple times, all while still evading the snake's strikes. She intercepts the snake as it closes in on her younglings and corners it. In the face of such retaliation and courage, the snake has no option but to back down. Number 5. Snakes mess with iguana. I think we can all agree that iguanas look really intimidating and scary. And that's not all. Their incredibly sharp, serrated teeth, coupled with their venom, can inflict excruciating pain to their victims. But does the same hold true in a face-off against snakes? Take a look at what happens when these two collide in an epic fight. This baby iguana has just fallen prey to a den of racer snakes. Realizing the danger, the iguana tries to run away from the snake, but the racer immediately chases after it and eventually manages to catch its target. Death is inevitable for this youngling. Soon, one of the snakes notices the escaping hatchling and chases after it. What happens next is just incredible. The iguana uses the snake's bad eyesight to its advantage and remains completely still to avoid being detected. At first, the strategy seems to be working, but the racer eventually catches on and attacks the iguana. However, thanks to some Matrix-like moves, the lizard is able to escape death a few more times and finally makes it to safety. Number 4. Snake messed with mongoose. The rivalry between mongoose and snakes is as old as their existence. These creatures have proved their ability to take on each other time and again. Mongooses are born snake killers, and they are usually always the ones to teach the slithering serpents a lesson. Although some snakes don't back down from a fight with a mongoose, the wisest thing for snakes to do in such a case may be to run. Here's a cobra stealthily moving towards its target, a scurry of squirrels. The squirrels are completely unaware of the predator nearby. Eventually, one of them notices the snakes but decides to stay put because he knows he doesn't stand a chance against the fierce reptile. But the squirrels know someone who's perfect for the job, their neighbor, a yellow mongoose. The mongoose rushes towards the cobra and a brutal fight breaks out. The reptile lunges at the animal, but it dodges the attack. With its lightning-fast agility, the mongoose avoids every move the snake makes. Eventually, the cobra gives in and flees with its life. Here's another mongoose and snake face-off. The mongoose immediately attacks, even though the snake has its head in the air ready to retaliate. After some back and forth, the mongoose delivers a fatal bite to the snake's head and ends it once and for all. Number 3. Snake messed with prairie dogs. Prairie dogs might look like adorable and cuddly creatures, but in reality, these rodents are surprisingly tough animals. Just like most rodents, prairie dogs have excellent agility and are capable of easily outmaneuvering any predator that goes after them. But the question is, do they have what it takes to stand their ground against something as dangerous as a snake? I guess there is only one way to find out. This prairie dog is investigating a snake hiding in a burrow, except the reptile doesn't approve of this intruder. As the snake slithers out of the burrow, the rodent follows it closely in an attempt to drive the snake away. After a few moments of hesitation, the prairie dog finally launches an attack and lands a hit. The reptile is immediately alarmed and goes into full battle mode. The rodent sneaks up on the snake from behind and strikes the snake twice before it finally gives up and retreats. This prairie dog has successfully ensured the safety of its family. This fine morning, the prairie dogs wake up to an intruder in their midst. A rattlesnake has been stalking the dogs and their pups. Noticing this, one of the prairie dogs sounds the alarm, and the young ones retreat inside their burrows. The adults then take the fight to the snake, surrounding the deadly serpents on all sides. While the snake can fend off one of the prairie dogs, here it's completely outnumbered and decides to flee. Number 2. Snake messed with another snake. Ever heard of the saying, fighting fire with fire? Well, this saying perfectly describes what you are about to see next. There's no arguing the fact that snakes are dangerous creatures, and it often seems like the only animal that can match up to a snake is one of its own kind. Ever wondered what happens when two snakes attack each other? I guess this next video might have some answers for us. This female king cobra is on the hunt when it comes across an unexpected prey, one of its own kind. The cobra displays its aggressive markings to intimidate its opponent. The other snake tries to exaggerate its size too, but it's pretty evident that it's no match for the cobra. It has the edge in this face-off because cobras are also immune to the venom of snakes they prey on. A few seconds later, the cobra strikes and delivers a fatal bite. The large dose of lethal venom starts doing its job of killing prey in a matter of minutes. The cobra also rolls around a few times with the snake in its mouth just to ensure its freshly caught meal isn't going to run away. Eventually, it swallows the snake whole. That too, while it's still alive. This cobra here is one ruthless killer. This king cobra hasn't eaten in weeks and needs to feed immediately. It sneaks inside a burrow and does the barrel roll, but we can't see what it's caught. Soon, it emerges with a spectacled cobra in its mouth. The king cobra is simply too strong, and even after putting up a struggle, the spectacled cobra becomes a victim here. After subduing its prey, the king cobra starts swallowing the humongous meal inch by inch. Number 1. Snake mess with kangaroo rats. Kangaroo rats are definitely one of the most fascinating looking creatures you'll ever come across. You'll be shocked to know that these extraterrestrial looking rodents can jump up to 9 feet in the air while escaping predators. Even then, you'd think their chances of surviving a snake attack are slim to none. But let's see if this next clip can change your mind. Here's a kangaroo rat foraging at night, completely oblivious to the presence of a rattlesnake that is watching it intently. When the rat moves closer to the snake, the predator swiftly strikes, attempting to deliver a deadly bite. Surprisingly, the nimble rodent senses the imminent danger and jumps away just in time to dodge the attack. This rattlesnake will sadly have to look for another prey. Snakes are a predator not to mess with. Even a look at the snakes can give you the chills. But there's no such animal in the jungle who's going to win every fight. As you can see, even a fierce predator like a snake can also be defeated. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and share it with your friends. And before you leave, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to always stay updated. We'll be back with another video. Stay tuned till then.